Hey, hey, hey! I am Maria Curie, Bronx Community 8 Vice Chair. I'm representing Chair Bob Fanuzzi, board members Nicole Stent, and staff. I bring you greetings and good luck. I bring you, if not for Lamont Parker of the Youth Committee, you will not be slamming today. But you know he had some help from his committee members. Show your hands, everybody. Stand up. Martha and staff from the Kingsbridge Library, partnering with Alec Diaco of Yes, the Bronx. And sponsors like Esposito, Kerner, Curie, Columbia Florist, and the likes. The second annual event is on its way. But what of your host, Eric Extraordinaire, and you, the participants? Here, where would this be? Nowhere. Nowhere. You need to show your gratitude, take the time to say thank you, and pass on the spirit of this event. For the first is history. This second will lead the way to the ones to come. So enough of this rant. Best to continue the chant. Congratulations to one and all. Time to impress the judges. Perform, use all your tricks of storytelling, songwriting, theater, stand-up comedy, and cold hard poetry to whittle points from 0, terrible, to 10, perfect. We're here to see who gets the ball, so let's get on the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second annual Bronx Youth Poetry Slam. And give it up for the Kingsbridge Library. One more time, let's clap for Community Board 8. Putting out the word. I also want to thank our sponsors. We have Yes, the Bronx, Columbia Florist, Curry Tours, Chris Esposito and Stuart Connor, TD Bank, Maribel Felipe, and Salvatore of Soho, who gave the kids pizza. Can we please give it up for all of our sponsors? Yes, the Bronx has come forward, and they're not only sponsoring one of the prizes that we're giving to the kids, but they're also going to give away a prize to someone who they feel has the best civics poem. So even if our students, our youth poets, don't have a civics poem, that's okay. We're going to have the Poetry Slam, which welcomes all kinds of poetry, but then we also have a special extra section because, yes, the Bronx thinks it's really important that our youth understand civics and the laws and the history of our country, which I totally agree with, and all of you better agree with. So they wanted to give an extra prize just for that. So we're going to get into that later. So one more time, give it up for Yes, the Bronx again. And he is the chairman of the Youth Committee for Community Board 8. Let's give it up for Mr. Lamont Parker. This is Angie Abreu. Clap for Angie. She does open mic for teens, and we also do teen workshops. Our second judge. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for James Peach. Clap for James. Make some noise for Margaret Kane. Clap for Margaret, please. Mr. Special K. Clap for Special K. Our fifth judge, Albert. Clap for him. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the microphone, Diamond Brown. Clap as Diamond makes her way to the mic.
Diamond, noun. Extremely hard, made from carbon, usually colorless. Diamond, female, person, people. Usually born, made from pure substances. Person, diamond, sculpted, created from a person, but not made. Mom, parent, creator, she laid broken and bruised. She didn't stay. Growing up, you played with Barbies and your dad dressing up, but I played dumb because my father left long before that eviction notice. And when he left, so did my self-esteem, which I would then later lead Then comes Mom. When she left, she took half of me, which I would then later need. Then Damar, a father, but not biological. He came, but he didn't leave, surprisingly. He stayed and gave me back my self-esteem, made me feel pretty. Then my mom, not biological, she gave me the half back. Then I was whole. Next was Grandma, my best friend. She left, and so did my belief in me. Then my uncle stopped calling, stopped writing, stopped visiting, making me feel unwanted, like the ugly stepsister. But then Sadie, a mentor, came and gave me back my belief in me. Then Jessica and Derwin asked about my days, and when something was wrong, reassured me everything was okay, that everything was okay. So Diamond, noun, extremely hard, made from carbon, usually colorless. Diamond, female, person, people, usually born, made from pure substances. But person, diamond, not hard, not made from carbon, not colorless. Vulnerable, talented, hopeful. Diamond, sculpted, creator, created. Parent, mom, disappeared. But the village helped raise this child, so Diamond.
Diamond's score is a 25.2. Clap for her to knock the score. And keep clapping as Natasha Estevez comes to the mic. Please let Natasha through.
I pass so many faces and I bump so many shoulders. I trample through the halls and my days are getting colder. I try to understand and be a part of all around me. People filled with confidence, yet none of this astounds me. My voice is shining low, but I'll strive to have it heard. Life is just too precious, and from all of this I've learned that finding myself has been the goal of a lifetime. Who I am, what I'll be, still remains a mystery, but life has been too good to me to just sit back and let things be. So I will rise, take chances, and grasp opportunities. I will live life until there's no more left of me. Thank you.
All right, we have a 7, an 8.2, an 8.5, a 9, and a 10. So that gives Natasha a 25.7. Give it up for her and not Tasbiha Chowdhury. I say it right? Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Tasbiha. Clap it.
The struggle. America's money worth the most. America's schools are the best. America's doctors are the most respected, said my patient. I laughed, saying that's my dream, which soon will come true. I'm going there to be the best, to be the richest. That might not have been the mistake, but was the start of a struggling life for sure. Walking along the street, dreams swirling in my head. I still believe I'm going to be the best. But how? My hands go into my pocket, don't have $1 in it. Been a month, having no job. I need to survive to make my dreams come true. My little girl wants an iPod. My older girl wants an iPhone. How do I make their wishes come true when my own wishes crush me? Still, hopeful I am. The sunshine today will brighten life. Finally, having the job letter in my hands, the curves in my lips come back. The birds in my heart start to sing. One day, the struggle will end. Or maybe it never will. First day at work, the American job. But the little girls are scared of me. Their mother says, "Look at his long beard. He's a Muslim," meaning a terrorist. Their friends don't trust me. They say he might not be honest because he is black. American dream. My eyes get filled with tears. American dream makes me speechless. But deep inside, it makes me determined. Because to show them who I am, I knew I cannot give up. এই বুকে পাথর চাপা দিয়ে I decide to move forward and hope that one day the struggle will end. Now I hear people calling me a terrorist or a thief every day. I kept a stone in my heart, but I think it turned my heart into a cold big stone that nothing bothers me now. It taught me, no matter what, work hard. The reward is unmistakable. One cannot make something out of you if you are not that. Oh, my daughters, American dream gave me a hard life, and hardship is the essence of life. Oh, my daughters, American dream and prejudices gave me a scuffling mind and tussle-shaped mind. Oh, my daughters, running after dreams gave me a skirmish brain, and conflicts teaches you to be the best. Oh, my daughters, live each moment with joy. The joy of your life may end the harshness of life, but it will not end the struggle, because if struggle ends, life will end. If struggle ends, life will end. If you have faith in yourself, if you have determination, have hope, have dream. Have hope, have dream. The struggles will no longer be able to control you. You will then become the ruler of the struggle.
From low to high, we have a 2, a 7, a 7.9, an 8, and a 10. One more time, give it up for Taspiha. That gives her a 22.9. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Elijah Evans to the microphone.
I was young and foolish, one who thought the world was his oyster, to pluck the pearl of life without any consequences or repercussions. I thought I was invincible, a gravitational force that held together unstable bonds while happiness and innocence, until he came into my life. He ripped apart my imaginary utopia and exposed me to the middle finger called life, my life. I had it all when I was a kid. A mother who cared and all the innocence an 8-year-old could muster. But that night, that fateful night, he took from me my purity and my innocence. From the moment on, I became an adult. I became an outcast. I became that puppet on a lonely string. And at that moment, my world was only a sandcastle in a tide that is reality. And that tide, it put me in a sink or swim situation as I sunk. I sunk into the cold, murky waters of depression and into a spiraling abyss of bitter resentment of life itself. I ask you to be the pieces of my fallen kingdom, to be the foundation of the shattered castle I once held dear. Revive me, take me out of the state of hypoxia. I suffer from the backlash of my own ignorance-filled bliss. I am Icarus, the fallen. Can you stop me from flying too close? Keep me at a state of contentment. I await you, the one who can save me from the self-destruction. Can you save me from myself? Only time can tell.
From low to high, we have a 7, an 8.5, an 8.9, a 9, and a 10 for Elijah. Elijah has a 26.4, which is the new high of the evening so far. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the microphone, Yishai Hamado.
I step onto the second-to-last car of the one train heading downtown. The sound of the conductor announcing, "Please stand clear of the closing Doritos bags and graffiti eating at the windows" makes me think immediately, New York. On the second-to-last car of the one train heading downtown is a homeless man sleeping. He's taking up an entire bench. Truth is, he's taking up maybe 4 seats. The rest are off limits because of the very thought of sitting next to a homeless man. It is as if the conductor announced, "Please stand clear of the homeless man." And when the homeless man stepped onto the second-to-last car of the one train heading downtown, he didn't think New York, he thought home for now. On the second-to-last car of the one train heading downtown, I judge him as soon as I lay eyes on him. He's taking up an entire bench. How rude, how inconsiderate. But then I think, who am I to consider it inconsiderate? I, who have a home, I, who have a bed to sleep in, not a bench to attempt it as I shuttle from shelter to shelter, I, whose rent is not paid in the form of a Metro card. On the second-to-last car of the one train heading downtown, down and out, he sleeps in an old sweater and baggy jeans, this Halloween costume that's been haunting him past October. The odor has been following him ever since he found the jeans between 18th Street and Desperation Avenue. He's wearing someone else's unwanted Air Jordans, his umbilical cord into the ground. Cut off the nourishment, he'll fall over. He was sober when he found them 3 days ago. Rejected and broken, left out in the open, he and the Air Jordans have so much in common. On the second-to-last car of the one train heading downtown, I am not immune to instincts, so I don't sit next to him either. Instead, I just wonder why I'm not sitting next to that sleeping man, why I'm not breaking the mold. When it comes to strangers, our nature is to cast out the contaminant. Damned in its differentness, it is the other kind of homeless. It is all the hopeless moments in my self-induced psychosis. I don't even notice. I'm too closely focused. I'm writing about his shoes. On the second-to-last car of the one train heading downtown, I think about how we're all a little bit homeless. Maybe we have a place to sleep and something to eat and clothes that belong to us first. But in the end, we're only kings of the things that lie within our shadows, and even those abandon us at nighttime. We're left cold and vulnerable. The moon is now the roof above our heads. The physics of a lonely soul is not a science. It is a cell within ourselves. Our cells defy it. We cannot teach these physics to Isaac Newton. I am the new tin man, still searching for a heart. And if home is where the heart is, well, then I guess I am homeless. And being heartless to the homeless is like adding insult to injury, but the only people we end up wounding are the human beings we could have been. On the second-to-last car of the one train heading downtown, it's no wonder I'm sitting alone.
We have from low to high, a 9, a 9.5, a 9.7, a 10, and a 10. Elon Wolf. Clap as Elon comes to the mic. Clap, clap, clap.
My SAT tutor cares about 3 things, but it wasn't always this way, I know, because of the history he drops in tidbits and snippets, in between correcting dangling modifiers like a fisherman absent-mindedly throwing moldy bread into the ocean. I dive in after them, save them, and preserve them to put together like puzzle pieces. And the more of the picture I begin to see, the scarier it becomes, because he almost reminds me of me. I often find myself asking if he once loved poetry. He makes fun of almost everything, argues that the world's devoid of meaning, and yet he wanted to teach English once. So I mentioned offhand that I attended a poetry slam expecting him to reprimand me and laugh at my stupidity, and yet he was quiet for a moment, for a second, in a state of nostalgia, as if he was remembering his favorite place to play when he was young. And then he asked, how was it? Because even though he's an atheist, he still holds some things to be holy, and poetry, that's sacrosanct. I also know that in 1991, he won the New York Times Teacher of the Year award, and that he was so proud of it, and what he was doing, the way he was teaching, that he wore to school the next day, only to hear the other teachers say, that's nothing, you're teaching at a prep school, why don't you try teaching kids who really need you? And because he was what I call inspirational, and he calls a quixotic fool, he said, I will. And I know that he tried his hardest to teach them, but because he didn't believe that was enough, he set his soul on fire as if that could make them learn, and he burned and burned until there was almost nothing left. He reached inside himself, pulled out the remnant, and sold it. so that nothing could ever hurt him the way they had again. Now, he spends his days tutoring for SATs. The first thing he cares about is money, because he thinks if he has enough, he'll be able to forget the way he failed. He wants to silence the voice that haunts him, the voice of a 5-year-old kid being asked what he wants to do when he grows up. I want to teach people to write and dream. I want to change the world. The second thing he cares about is 800s, because there was so much he wanted to accomplish, and this is all he has left. And the third thing is grammar, because in a world where so many things went wrong for him, where nobody would listen, and his ambition, which burned inside him, burnt him, gerunds can always correct run-ons. And because in a world with too much confusion, he doesn't need to deal with the tense variety because he can fix it. Grammar is something of complete certainty. In a world that's severely lacking things we know for sure, it's something he has complete control over. And now that I'm beginning to understand him, I want to save him because I'm a teenager with big ambitions. Also, I want to tell him that there are boys that can't conjugate verbs. Others need help understanding poetry, and more simply, there are children like me that want to change the world, children just like him. I need you to inspire me, I want to say, but right now you're only scaring me. You symbolize the forbidding, even chilling, world that knocks you down, pins you with its massive weight, and never lets you get back up. But Archimedes said, give me a lever and I'll move the world. So I implore you, if I can find a lever and move the world just a little bit, will you slide out from under it and try again?
We have from a Loda High, a 7, a 7.5, an 8, an 8, and an 8.8. Wait. We have a 7, 7.5, 7.5, an 8, an 8, and an 8.8.
Next, coming up to the microphone, she was in the slam last year, and I believe she was in the runoff for 5th, so she's back for vengeance as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the microphone, Genevieve Shorter. Clap as Genevieve Shorter comes to the mic. Keep clapping.
This is an untitled piece that I have. Ladies and gentlemen, with my heart sinking, I hate to report this news, but the Bronx is burning again. It started where some people call the KNIC, the Kingsbridge National Ice Center. Others say it started elsewhere. But let's take a moment. The Bronx is burning again, but it's not burning with fires because that would be too extreme. It's burning with Claire's and with Chipotle's and Starbucks, and let's take a moment to think about American Eagle. The eagle, a symbol of our nation so strong, and a symbol of our underhanded and cruel economic system. In God we trust. The Bronx is burning again, and as the flames rage, it leads many people to believe, where will I call home? With the recent influxes of the Henrys, the James, the Carols, the Susans, the Tiffany's, and their children, the Bobbies, the Ashleys, the Johns, Toms, but all with an I and not with a Y. Remember. The Bronx is burning again, but I have to wonder, where will I live? Where will I call home? The Bronx is burning again, and I don't know. I don't know where I'll call home. I don't know where I'll go to get my 125 bacon, egg, and cheese, and where I go to get my Doritos, because those mom and pop shops are no longer there, replaced with things that people seem to care about. The Bronx is burning, and I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, this revolution will not be televised, so let's get wise to all their lies as they tell us that we need things. That supermarket was not made for us, and we need to get wise when we see that red note, an eviction notice. When we find out that our landlord wants to screw with us. The Bronx is burning, And this revolution, a counteraction against the evolution of our forefathers in the civil rights movement, will not be televised. The Bronx is burning with fire, and this fire is called gentrification. Thank you.
5, a 7.9, a 7.9, an 8.4, and a 10. Anna Rodriguez. Clap as Anna Rodriguez comes to the mic.
I think I might go crazy. I thought being grown was cool, but right now, I'd do anything to be back in preschool. I gotta fill out these college applications. FAFSA, scholarships. Man, I need a vacation. Mama said, girl, you gotta go away, but I think I want to stay, but I'm gonna go away just to make a day. It's crazy. It's crazy how we were just born and forced to go to school. To be a doctor, a lawyer, but what if I just wanted to be a flower and not worry about how I'll make the next dollar? But I didn't learn anything anyways, so why bother? This whole school system is messed up, especially in America. New York, to be specific. The Bronx, to be extra specific. I walk the hallways where young drug dealers do too. Young mothers, soon to be young mothers, and lost souls too. Where every morning the announcements ends with Truman is the place to be. But look around hard. These metal detectors define who we are. We are not perceived as good kids. Let's be real. We're at risk of not graduating, at risk of going to jail, at risk of dying. Ain't that something? We come from the hood, so we don't know any better, right? We're exposed to drugs, sex, alcohol, and violence. So we're most likely going to do the same, right? Yes, we're a couple of troubled souls, but nobody has to know. Nobody has to know that I sell drugs because my refrigerator is empty. Nobody has to know that I'm going to be a mother because I thought I was ready. We are not inmates, we're our students, so quit the fooling. Teach us to be different, to go out and make a difference. Because ain't nothing changing. This goes on generation after generation. Teach us to be different so we can go out and make a difference. To show the world that there can be more than one black president, that there can be a Latin president, that not all blacks are niggas, that not all Spanish people are immigrants, that not all black and Spanish people go to jail, and not all of us live off welfare. I am tired. This is not supposed to be happening. This is not supposed to be society. Why can't we just understand each other? We might look different and be different colors, but we're all people. We bleed the same color. But don't listen to me, because I'm just a poet. So I'm going to fill out these college applications, FAFSA and scholarships, and I'm going to cancel that vacation. And I'm going to do it for my blacks and my Latinos. And I'm going to get this education. And I'm going to show the world that we are not basic. Thank you.
We have from low to high, an 8, an 8.7, an 8.8, a 9, and a 10. Give it up one more time. Ethan Metzger to the microphone. Clap as Ethan comes to the mic.
Her eyes are radiant. They are those Shea Stadium lights lighting up the field those summer nights, bottom of the ninth. Rally caps, clasped hands, last stand. Dad, we're staying. It's a comeback in the making. Those diamonds shine bright. Her smile is the moon gazing down at the pitcher's mound, stretching across the city, an intangible tarp over the crowd. Her voice is the crack of the bat, that contact, my kind of music. I recall this one time she made me laugh, and it hit me. It hit me like a line drive in my chest, causing my lungs to collapse. That every interaction with her feels like I'm 8 years old again, opening a new baseball card pack. That when the base paths in life seem like dark in this corridor, a simple, hey, from her turns my face into a scoreboard. She plays the game with a passion. She plays the game with compassion. Her sense of fashion, she wears her heart on her sleeve. She's the fall classic because whenever she enters a room, my cheeks change colors like autumn leaves. But she's from training, makes me optimistic, got me thinking. You gotta believe her fingertips. Her fingertips like the clean-cut grass grip gently. I've never walked on the field, but that's how I picture it mentally. Her hair waves in the wind like pennant banners. She's full of banter and candor, more questions than answers. She's worth staying for no matter the duration of the rain delay. She's the type you've got to see in person. Her repertoire and display, no pine tar. Just kindness, mindfulness of those around her. Or she'll change it up, she'll fearlessly fire fastball, she won't back down. I'm saying no makeup, her beauty is the perfect strike zone. But you see, she plays for the Mets. I play for the Cyclones. She's high as a kite though. She's a fly ball. People are standing around me though, and they're really tall. And if her seams ever begin to unstitch themselves, if it ever seems like she is about to unravel, I will be there to save her before she hits the gravel. That's me. I'm not at the plate trying to hit a home run. I'm just a kid in the nosebleeds, ready with his glove.
We have an 8. Okay, I'm a Yankee fan too, forget the Mets. An 8.5, a 9.4, a 10, and a 10. Give it up for Ethan. Please welcome Natasha Estevez back to the microphone for the second round.
This flesh that I live in, so thirsty for sin. This mind that I'm given, so hungry to win. But this heart that I'm blessed with, a seeker for good, if my mentality could not do it, then my ambition surely would. Decisions we must make on this journey of life. Enlightened and damned, we must put up a fight. If wisdom is what leads to succeeding in life, then I'll be praying on my knees on this very night. If poverty strips man from pride in his heart, I pray to lose it all before I make it to the top. A mold of society is what I've been built to be, but I'll fight against the odds to die just being me. And I'll be so much more than what my race and youth is said to be. Thank you.
From low to high, we have a 7, a 9, a 9, a 9.2, and a 10. Give it up for Natasha. Elijah Evans, back to the microphone.
Sitting in the shadows, thinking about my life, thinking of my sins, thinking about my dreams, thinking about my pain and shattered dreams. Does God hate me for being who I am? Does the devil want me after what I became? How my life would have been if I had turned the other path. Confusion sets in as I sink deeper, thinking of his touch and her lips, thinking of his night and her night, thinking of my life if I had met her instead of him. Had these tears I shed been over a losing battle, the darkness has swallowed me whole. As the black ink of insanity pulled me in, depression taking my heart, but I see these lights, small and indistinct, calling me, these voices, chants of past life. They want me to live for those who couldn't accept their hand, so they had folded. For those warriors who were slain early, I shed these tears of a warrior, for every warrior in our generation. Opening my eyes, I see myself in this corner. The darkness receded, light pierced the border. I see the light within my darkness. I know why I exist. These scars, my scars, I hold them for others. Grasping my blade, I stand and leave the corner, my corner. I am a warrior. Although I shed these tears, everybody does. But I take my darkness, the hand I've dealt with, and I push to survive.
Scores we have from low to high. Next, coming up to the microphone, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anna Rodriguez back to the mic. Keep clapping for Anna.
There really isn't anything safe about the world we live in. We walk outside of our homes every day. Only God knows what will happen. Because there ain't nothing a prayer can do. Because it be the good ones that are called out. A man with a gun and authority could only make us feel safe but not be safe. Because you ain't nothing if you ain't smart. We have smart but sick people in this world who plan things to kill us soul and you won't even know. Safety isn't the safety button on a gun. That was gone and I was only last month. I'm starting to believe in less in God and more in science. Because how many young innocent souls are dying? How many more angels is God calling? Why are things like cancer and human trafficking happening? They said that if you give yourself to God, he'll bring you good. But I've given myself to him a long time ago. And all he's given me was 3 funerals, a depressed dad, and a mom with arthritis. You strong believers of God knock on my door every Sunday, but you won't let a person who's in love with the same sex knock on your door. But God loves all his children, right? I can't even be saved in the arms I love because I don't know what someone is capable of. And no one can tell me I'll be safe surrounded by my family. Because they say, blood is thicker than water, but it be your family bigger than your friends. They don't tell me it's trust issues, because it's just the world we live in. Massacres, murders, and suicide. It's just the world we live in. Guns, knives, our sick brains, our own 2 hands, and judgment. It's just the world we live in. And nobody's safe.
From low to high, we have an 8.2, an 8.5, a 9, a 10, and a 10 to add. Please welcome back Ethan Metzger. Clap as Ethan comes to the mic. Our second to last poet of the night.
My grandfather's hand is rusty from the wear and tear, clutching my grandmother's arm in their apartment as she gives me a hollow stare. The 2 of them are sitting side by side in their chairs. My grandfather looks at her, his eyes apprehensive, and I recite a prayer. See, she's real sick. It's been 4 years since she said his name, and I can see it's taking a toll on his 92-year-old frame, but the flame inside of him still burns. She's still his dame. All that's happened hasn't put a strain on his tenderness towards her, despite the pain. He points at me, smiles wide like I'm his greatest accomplishment, tells her that's Ethan, your grandson. She maintains the same look of astonishment. My grandfather's eyes return to her, and he cries the day she dies is looming. 3 times already I said my final goodbyes. He tells me, sing something. So I begin a tune from the synagogue. That's all she can say. See, sometimes she'll speak to God. My grandfather washes her lips, crooked from God knows how many strokes with deep focus, but she doesn't say anything. He appears broken and hopeless. Then suddenly, she moves her lips with great slowness. My grandfather lights up, laughs, asks me if I noticed, and in this moment, I realize, despite the diagnosis, the desperation, the despair, love is in the air on this occasion. My grandfather's love is complete dedication. No matter the situation, it's unwavering and it has no expiration. It scares me that he'll die soon because of a broken heart. I hope I die the same way, with love we all want.
From low to high, we have a 7, a 9, a 9.2, a 9.8, and a 10. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Yishai Hamadot to the microphone.
A friend of mine once told me you can know a poem is successful if it moved someone in the audience. Moving on to the next round or winning an award scored little next to sending shivers down spinal cords like vinyl records on summer evenings. I admired him, but I realized I don't agree. You see, maybe the listener's feelings that I can never quantify trump my desire to qualify for the next round, but that doesn't justify my attempts to personify my conscience in my writing, to toxify my mind by coming out of hiding, deciding I'm not satisfied by his thinking. I don't apologize for the reasons I write. I soon became preoccupied, trying to compromise between my need to prioritize between my own self and to moralize for others. Hold on, I'll rewind. That was a mouthful. I used to write because I know I can, but now I write because sometimes writing is a better form of speaking than speech could ever be. Writing is the way souls communicate, the way our deepest depths dance together like children. I no longer write because I can. I write because I want to understand the vast deserts of unborn poetry, and if worthy, unearth the wellsprings of truth, the fountains of youth underneath the mountains, amounting to suspended snow globes sprouting from the fountains resurrected, reflected in the waters. I drink it, it dribbles down my chin. Sometimes it's just a simple scribble, but to me a lyric can be a lifeline, nourishing the hearts of those who yearn to hear their lives described through someone else's metaphors. What will poets need heaven for when they build gardens of Eden by verbally defeating our demons? Achieving freedom through spoken reasons to sweeten what we already believe in and what we always needed. We're the last of the Mohicans, the lone survivors of a race that embraces no surface complexions, only complex surfaces, poetry's hills and the valleys of verses, and the landscape shaped by our tongues and sustained by our lungs. And yes, maybe it's a successful poem if a listener is moved, but I, too, want to be moved. And maybe that's selfish, or I'm lonely, or it's just my God-given right to search for purpose. I'm just nervous. I'll write so much I'll end up wordless. I write because I want to hear the things I'm too afraid to tell myself out loud. It's okay to be angry. Did you really just hit reply all? You can do this. I use writing as a way to step back and see myself at a distance, me and my thoughts in coexistence, if only for an instant. There's no conscious resistance. It's a way for me to stare down at a piece of paper and say, teach me. I write to tell the truth. I write to tell my truth. I guess writing for me is like talking to myself. Sometimes it can be embarrassing. Most of the time it makes absolutely no sense. But all the time, every time, it feels like I'm meeting myself for the very first time.
The scores that do count is a 7 and a 9 at 16 plus 9.6, which makes it a 25.6, which means that Natasha Estevez is our second annual Bronx Youth Poetry Slam winner!
I want to thank everyone for coming. Nancy Nunez from Riverdale neighborhood house, not Riverdale.
I'm sorry.
All right, Fort Independence, and everyone out there. Mr. B, he's out there. Jerome, Long, and Mr. Man over here, videotaping me. And everyone who came out.
I want to thank Martha and the Kingsbridge Library for opening their doors after hours. Thank you. Community Board 8.
I'm representing Chair Bob Fanuzzi, board members Nicole Stent and staff. If not for Lamont Parker, do we know who Lamont Parker is? Where would the youth committee be? And you wouldn't be slamming today. But you know he had some help from his committee members. Show your hands and stand up. Martha and staff from the Kingsbridge Library, partnering with Alec Diaco of Yes the Bronx, sponsors Esposito, Kerner, Curie, Columbia Florist, and the lights. The second annual event is on its way. Was on its way. But one of your hosts, Eric Extraordinaire. Guys, give a hand for Eric. And all of you that participated, where will we be? Nowhere. You need to show your gratitude. Take the time to say thank you and pass on the spirit of this event. So the first is history, the second is now history, and it will lead the way to the ones to come. So enough of this rant. Best to continue the chant. Congratulations to one and all. Time to impress judges, perform, and use your tricks of storytelling, songwriting, theater, stand-up comedy, and cold hard poetry to whittle points from 0, terrible, to 10 perfect. We're here to see who gets the ball, so let's get on the show. Thank you, everybody.